Today we're going to go over the second half of the 8 pieces, and we'll cover the basics, and then next week we'll go back and start reviewing and adding a little bit more detail to the first 4. Okay, so let's loosen up a little bit. Shake the whole body. And loosen up the waist. And circle the knees. Change direction. Now the ankles. Change direction. And the other foot. Change direction. All right. So if we have time, after we go through the pieces 5 through 8, we'll go back and review 1 through 4, because if it's just, if there's no one else comes in for feedback, then we'll probably have some time left over. But I want to wait and make sure that no one joins us late. Okay, so now, piece number 5, swing the head and sway the tail to eliminate the heart fire. So from piece number 4, we had a hip width distance between the heels, and we were doing turning the neck like that. Now for piece number 5, when we want to thread the pieces together, we would step the right foot out to a horse stance, up to double shoulder width or whatever's comfortable. So now I have to recenter myself because of the camera, but if you didn't have to stay centered at the camera, you just step your right foot out to connect the movement, the 5th movement with the 4th movement. We bend down and place the hands on the legs just above the knees. And the thumb will be on the outside of the leg. And it will look like this from the side. One thing we want to be careful of as we do this is not to allow the head to drop down. So we don't want to do this. We want to keep the head upright. And what we're going to do is inhale, exhale, turn to the side. We're going to push down with the hand on the knee. This creates a pressure in the area right here where we have the lungs, and opens up the lungs. We're going to look up towards the ceiling. The important thing about the breathing is that we'll time our breathing so that we do an inhale while we hold this position. So we do an inhale, then we exhale, start back to center. Inhale, exhale, turn to the other side, press down with the hand on the knee. Look up towards the ceiling, hold best position and inhale, and then exhale, start back to center. So again, about the breathing, the one thing you want to make sure you do with the breathing is you have an inhale while you're holding the position here. So you have the pressure here as you're pushing down with the hand on the knee, and then the diaphragm drops down as you inhale. And then exhale, start back to the center. Now this exercise uses the lung metal. Lung is associated with the metal phase in the 5 elements theory, so it uses the lung metal to cool the heart fire. So the exercise benefits both the lungs and the heart. And when we next week, when we add the healing sounds to the exercise, you'll see that we can use the healing sound for heart in the summer and the healing sound for lungs in the fall. All right, so here we go. Inhale, exhale, turn to the side, press down with the hand on the knee. Inhale, exhale, start back to center. Inhale, exhale, finish your turn, press down with the hand on the knee. Inhale, Exhale, come back to center. In, out, in, out, 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 come back to center. Okay. You can see that when I'm holding the position to the side here and inhaling, that inhale is longer than the inhales that I do when I'm moving. So when I'm holding the position and inhaling, allowing the diaphragm to drop down and massage, well, in this case over on this side the spleen, this side the liver, and of course in the back the kidneys, all get a massage when the diaphragm drops down. So the inhale deeply, but not all the way to bursting. But it is longer inhalation than when I'm moving from side to side, just in order to increase the massaging effect of the diaphragm moving up and down. Okay, let's do a couple of more. Inhale, exhale, press down with the hand on the knee, inhale, exhale, come back to center, in, out, in, out, 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 come back to center, and come up. Okay. Questions? Questions on that? Do you have questions? Okay, so you want me to watch you do it and give you feedback? Do you want? Okay. Okay. You're doing it correctly. What I would suggest for improvement is, as you get more used to the exercise and build up your stamina, go slower, particularly during the transition, but also as the part where we hold the position to the side, also hold that longer, and gradually take a wider stance gradually as you build up leg strength. But don't try to do that too quickly, because we have to be careful of knees, not straining the ligaments and tendons in the knees. But that's what I would suggest for improving the efficacy of the exercise, is just get out a little bit wider and then move more slowly. To move more slowly during the transitions from side to side. Okay, let's look at piece number 6, which is 2 hands to hold the toes to strengthen the waist and kidneys. Now this one, in piece number 6 and piece number 7, we have a change in the number of repetitions prescribed. So for the full routine, as I learned from Dr. Young, well, let's say the magic number is 24. So with piece number 5 that we just did, it would be 12 to each side for a total of 24. But for piece number 6 and piece number 7, the magic number is 16. And so 16 of piece number 6, 2 hands to hold the toes. So in order to create continuity with the between the pieces, you would step your right foot back into hip width distance for piece number 6. And we're going to have a little bit more internal work with piece number 6, because we're going to be putting our mind in 2 important points on the acupuncture system. One being the Mingmen gate, which is on the back, on the governing vessel. Then it's the same level as your navel is on the front. So that's between L2 and L3, if that helps. So Mingmen gate. And then at the bottoms of the feet, of course, that's the Chuan points. So 2 hands to hold the toes. In and out. Place your mind in the Mingmen. Hold the position and in. Exhale, bend down, keep your back as straight as possible. Grab knees, ankles, or toes, the farthest that you can reach. And pull up to tense the muscles on your lower back that are over the kidneys. And place your mind in the Yang Chuan points, the bubbling wells. Inhale. Exhale. inhale, straighten up, and exhale. When you exhale, imagine that your hands are pushing down. The feeling might be something like if you were waist deep in a swimming pool and you had a float, some sort of a pool float, and you were pushing down the float into the water. So it's not tense, but it's definitely the feeling of pushing down the energy. Likewise, when we stretch up, we're stretching, lifting up, but not tensing. So we don't want to be doing this. We just want to be stretching. Nice stretch. You might feel as though your energy is from the waist down, going down into the earth, and from the waist up, your energy is lifting up towards the heavens. Now let me show you from the side so that you can see what I'm trying to do when I say keep your back as straight as possible. Although it's a little bit early in the morning for my back, so it might not be as straight as it could be later on in the day when it's more warmed up. Okay, so in and out. Mind in the Ming Men. In, out, bend down with back as straight as possible. Grab knees, ankles, or toes and pull up. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in and come up. And breathe out, push down. When you're bent down like this, of course, you breathe in and you breathe out while you're holding that bent down position. Somebody asked me one time in a class, well, that's a pretty shallow breath, isn't it? And I said, yes, it is, because your diaphragm and everything is all, shall we say, squished. So, yeah, it's not going to be a very deep breath, but it is a breathe in, breathe out while you're holding that position, pulling up on the toes, ankles, or knees. All right, so let's do a few. Oh, and on like piece number 1, though it looks like a little bit similar to piece number 1, but we're not clasping the fingers and we're not lifting the heels. Okay, so we're just going in and out, in, out and bend down, back as straight as possible. Pulling up on the toes, in, out. Inhale, come up. Exhale, press down. In and out. In. Out. Mind in the bubbling wells. In. Out. Inhale, come up. Exhale, press down. In and out. In. Mind in the Ming Men. Out. In, out. Inhale, come up. Exhale, press down. In and out. Mind in the magnet. In, out. Mind in the bubbling wells. In, out. Inhale, come up. Exhale, press down. One more. In and out. In, mind in the magnet, out. Mind in the bubbling wells. In, out. Inhale, come up. Exhale, press down. Okay. Questions?
No questions on that.
Okay. So let me watch you do some and do a couple facing the camera and then a couple turn to the side. Okay, you're doing it correctly. So for improvement, actually you're doing it correctly, but for improvement, um, relax. You look a little tense, so try to relax. Of course, you're being watched, so that's tense in itself, but work on relaxing, and also to very gradually increase your range of movement. So you want to try to get down to eventually to grabbing the toes, and also when you're lifting your arms up over your head, you're kind of here with the arms. You would try to get to here. And again, this is probably tension in the muscles, which will gradually release as you continue to practice Qigong over the months and years. But it looks like you're a little stiff here, so try to get right over the head. But don't force it all at once. But that should be your goal gradually, and then to get down where you can reach the toes again. The idea is to very, very gradually increase your range of motion. We never want to try to force anything and try to force progress too fast. That's where problems occur and injuries occur. But keep in mind, say, yeah, I want to get just a little bit more range of motion every week or something like that, and then just feeling of when you're doing the movement that you're really enjoying it, that this is feeling so nice. You might even smile as you're doing it. You're relaxed, stretch, but relaxed. So really enjoying the Qigong, yes. And it's probably, again, because you're not really enjoying being watched and being critiqued, but yeah, after a while, it feels so nice. And
We're really stiff back, so.
Oh yeah.
I'm actually stiff, so.
Yeah. Well, the all-season Qigong, add that to your repertoire for regular practice. That will help. But it will take a long time. And, I was thinking back when I started, and I would look at Master Yang and how he moved, and I would say that, I'm not moving like that. I don't have that feeling. And I think over 3-4 years, I said, oh yeah, I'm starting to get that feeling. I think I'm beginning to move a little bit like he's moving and have the feeling that he's having. And now I think for some of the movements, yeah, I have the same feeling. I have the same movement. Maybe he wouldn't agree, but it feels that way. But it took a long time. But very nice thing about Qigong is that there's not a deadline. It's not like you're a baseball player where you're finished up at 35 or maybe even 30, because you can continue to get better and Qigong, forever. So, and it will also help you maintain that ability to continue to get better, because we're not talking about strength or speed or agility. Qigong will make you more flexible and agile, but we're talking about very slow but steady progress. Okay. Piece number 7 is another one where we have 16 repetitions recommended, but it's bilateral, so it's 8 to each side. And the movement is called left-right. Screw the fist and punch with fiery eyes. So again, in order to make continuity from piece to piece, piece number 7 is a horse stance, so we would step the right foot out again to horse stance. And very much like piece number 2, we're going to squat down and we're going to tuck the buttocks under as we squat down to flatten the lower back. As we squat down, we're going to bring our fists to the waist like this, which is called chamber position in the Kung Fu, because from this position they do their fist practice. But we're going to punch to the side, and we're also going to screw the fist. So screwing the fist, I'm going to start with my palm down like this. I'll take my fist and turn like this. And then as I punch, I'm going to screw the fist 90 degrees. So it will be from my palm facing the ground to the palm facing the side, but it's going to be a fist. So, and as I do that, well, actually, of course, the whole body's connected. So the movement starts in the bottoms of the feet and comes through the waist and then to the fist. So I will turn the waist back to the front as I screw the fist and punch with fiery eyes. So the fiery eyes bit is to raise the spirit. So don't be shy with the fiery eyes. You should feel tingly on the scalp as you do that, raising the spirit. The fist itself will be held loosely, loose, 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 tighten momentarily, and then relax right away. So you'll tighten the fist at the moment that you imagine you have impact with your imaginary, whatever it is you're punching. Tighten momentarily, then relax. Because if we were to maintain the fist tight the whole time, well, you can feel what happens when I tighten the fist. I feel all the way up to the shoulder, definitely up to the elbow, but also up to the shoulder, everything tight, which means qi flow is constricted. So if I tighten here and do this, the qi flow cut off here. We don't want that. We want the qi to flow, but we do want to tighten just momentarily and then relax. Right away, so tight and relax. Tight and relax. Okay. All right, left, right, screw the fist and punch with fiery eyes. Breathing. So this is going to be exhale. Inhale. Now I'm straightening up a little bit, so I'm coming out of the squat. Inhale. Exhale. In. Out. 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 In. in, out, in, out. And one more round. In, out, in, out. Okay. So do a couple facing the camera and then a couple of side views, okay? Okay. Let's see two major things. One is when you're punching, you're leaning. So keep the center line straight. The power of the punch comes from turning the waist back to the front. But the center line is like an axle that you're turning on. So don't lean or go like that. So the power of the punch is not from leaning into it, it's from turning the waist. Secondly is the connection. So the smoothness, which will come with practice. Part of it is, I think, you're not sure exactly what the hand should be doing. Chamber. And screw like that. It takes a while to get the feeling of the connectedness between root and fist. That will come with practice. So the major thing is keep the center line straight as you go down, and don't lean into the punch. Okay. That takes us to piece number 8, the hundreds of illnesses. Wait and see later, they'll be gone. And this one is, well, I'm going to venture to say it's pretty simple. And I'm going to start off by showing you the variation that I learned in 2008 in California. I think, well, I don't know, the first time I did this, probably 1996, 1995 maybe, with Dr. Young. He didn't have this variation, but the variation that he added in 2008 makes this exercise so much easier to do, and I think so much better. And the variation is not difficult. So I just start now with the variation and don't bother with the way I originally learned it. One of the points that Master Yang makes about Qigong is the art is alive. So what he learned, I don't know when, long time ago, I guess, he improved by adding some variations, and we'll go over those in a future lesson. And I think after he worked for years and years with this routine, he figured ways to make it better in some respects. This variation helps a lot, and what it helps with is counting. But it also is much better for the effect on the muscles. So it used to be that piece number 8, we would do 24 repetitions in each of the 3 parts. So piece number 8, like piece number 4, has 3 parts. So it would be standing with hip width between the heels. So of course, our continuity would be after piece number 7, we step back into hip width distance, and we're ready for piece number 8. The 3 parts of piece number 8, the upper body is exactly the same as piece number 4, which you may recall is hands on hips for the first part, hands like this for the second part, and hands and arms like this for the third part. The lower body, what we're going to do is lift up the heels, hold for 3 seconds, and lower back down. So as it was originally taught, it was 24 with the toes pointing straight ahead. Honestly, that became a bit of an ordeal for counting. So 2008, I go to California, and Master Qigong has changed it. So it's 8 lifts with the toes straight ahead. Then we turn the toes out, and we do 8 more. And then we turn the toes in, and we do another 8. So instead of having to count to 24, it's counting only to 8, okay? But also the effect on the leg muscles is much better as well. Breathing pattern. Exhale up, inhale down. And like piece number 6, where I said, you might feel your energy after a while, feel like your energy is smoothing out up and down. Well, as you exhale and lift up the heels, again, you might feel your energy smoothing out up and down. So exhale up, inhale down. After a while, calves and ankles might get a little tired, so there's a little trick you can do to help ease the strain on calves and ankles, and that is when you come down, roll back a little bit on your heels and lift your toes up a little bit. And that helps the ankles and calves relax. So up, down. Now, one thing that happens in this exercise is the holding for 3 seconds can get a little sloppy sometimes. So it's nice if you have a clock or something to give you an honest 3 seconds, because believe me, by the time you get to the 24th repetition on the third part, your ankles are going to say, let me down, let me down. Okay, so exhale up. Inhale down. Toes straight ahead. Exhale up. Inhale down. 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 Okay, I think that was 8. Then we turn the toes out. Exhale up. Inhale down. If you pay attention to the feeling in the lower legs and feet, you can see that we turn the toes out. It works a little bit different muscles. Exhale up. Inhale down. Up. Down. Up. Down. Up. Down. Up. Down. Then we turn the toes in. Up. Down. 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 Okay, so that's the first part. Another aid to keeping the calf muscles relaxed is to go slowly and give your inhalation, so it's exhale up, inhale down. Give your inhalation as much time as your exhalation. That gives your calves a little bit of rest between repetitions. So don't go exhale up, inhale down, exhale up, inhale down, exhale up, inhale down. You can see that's wearing my calf muscles out already. Okay, so that's the first part. Second part, we're going to change the balance factor. So from here, we go to here. Thumbs on the outside of the waist, and fingers pointing towards the spine. Again, this is just like the piece number 4, second part of piece number 4. So toes pointing straight ahead, exhale up, inhale down, up, 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 down. Okay, turn toes out, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, Turn toes in. Up. Down. 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 Okay, that's second part. The third part's going to change the balance factor again because the hands are going to be here. So you can see from here to here, your center of gravity is going to shift. And here it shifts backwards, here it shifts forwards, or maybe vice versa. But anyway, it changes the effect on your legs because it changes your center of gravity balance point. Okay, so from here, exhale up, inhale down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Let's go to toes turned out, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Turn toes in, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, and down. Okay. Now, Bob, let me see you do from the side position, 3 repetitions with the toes straight ahead in each of the 3 arm positions. So hands on hips, do 3 repetitions, toes straight ahead. Then the second position with the hands on the back. And the third position here. Let me see 1 repetition or 2 with the third position facing the camera. Okay. The third position, I think I see an improvement from last time when we did the third position to piece number 4. I think your shoulders are down more. I think your shoulders are more relaxed. So you can continue to work on relaxing the shoulders, but I see some improvement already. And then the other thing, the posture issue, think about head gently lifted and ears like here where the seam is on the t-shirt. Now this again is something over time to work on, but you have your head just a little bit forward. So if you think about the principle of the head is gently lifted, which is one of the big things in Tai Chi, to keep the head upright, not going forward. So you have a little bit of the head being forward, and of course that's going to upset your center line this way rather than this center line. It's this center line. And we all need to be careful as we get older to fight that common tendency where people end up you go into a retirement home and what you see is half the people are in wheelchairs, half the people have walkers, and then maybe a quarter of the people, no, that's a quarter of the people have walkers, and then there may be a quarter or fewer who have canes or are still upright. So head gently lifted, very important in the Tai Chi to keep that posture upright and this center line correct. And there's a very common tendency to do this.